everybody keeps talking about how it's lonely at the top, but you were lonely at the bottom. Welcome back. It's your favorite mental health specialist, High Guidance, and that is what we're going to be talking about today. How do you embrace your season of isolation? How do you actually embrace your own energy and your own solitude? With that being said, there's no right or wrong way to heal yourself, so always and only take what resonates, as well as leave the rest, and grab your pen and your paper and be prepared to take notes. In this video, we're going to go over some recommendations, as well as some reminders on what solitude looks like to you and what to expect when you're in your season of isolation, and most importantly, how to embrace it. The first thing you have to realize is that you are already alone. You see, when you grow up in dysfunction, in confusion, in corruption, a lot of times you end up picking up energies and mindsets and behaviors that are not compatible with who you're meant to be in this life, as well as mindsets. So if you're surrounded by dysfunctional people, the saying who you surround yourself with is who you're likely to end up being like is true. If you're around people who have low self-esteem, subconsciously and consciously, if you're not aware of yourself, because you're around them, you'll start to hear what is being said. You'll start to see what is being said. And if you do not have discernment, if you're not able to separate yourself, you will, over time, end up thinking those things subconsciously and consciously. That's why it's really important to be mindful of who you surround yourself with and what you're listening to and what you're watching. The second thing you have to be aware of is that just because you grew up in these environments, just because you weren't taught and shown certain things, or you did witness certain things, doesn't mean it has to be compatible with you and that it resonates with you. The moment you want to become the best version of yourself, the moment you want to live out your life goals and do the things that you want to do, heal, lose weight, whatever it is the moment that you're allowed to do so. So you have to be willing to give yourself permission. You have to be willing to support yourself. It doesn't matter if you have these attachment issues, abandonment issues, you have low self-esteem, etc. That is something that you're going to work on. But in order for you to work on those things, you have to realize that you feel a certain type of way, and you have to acknowledge who's in your corner. The third thing is that when you do start to work on these things, which are going to be the recommendations and the solutions, you have to be okay with cutting off certain people. You have to be willing to outgrow certain people. Like, it's not lonely at the top, it's peaceful at the top, and I'm speaking from experience. Would you rather be alone and successful and heal yourself and get to know yourself, so therefore you can attract the things that you want, or to be around people who don't allow you to be you, limit yourself, be unhappy, be miserable, have envy, and have resentment? The only reason why people think peace is lonely is because, once again, you're used to being around toxic individuals. You're used to being around low vibrational people. And low vibrational people could be your mom, it could be your dad, it could be your family, it could be your siblings, it could be your kids, it could be your coworkers. Nobody's excused, including myself. So you have to realize that as you become healthier, as you become equipped, as you become educated, you don't have to think you're better than certain people, but you can be better than certain situations. So for me, as I've grown, as I evolve, every certain people, place, and thing that does not resonate with me, I don't give my energy to. It's just not for me. It's not about being better. It's not about being braggadocious. It's not about being arrogant or full of yourself or conceited. No, it's about you living your life. You're allowed to have a mind of your own. You're allowed to do what makes sense to you. And if people are not willing to pour into you financially, emotionally, physically, financially, spiritually, consciously, subconsciously, then it's not for you. You embracing your solitude is a privilege. Why? Because until you figure out who you are, until you figure out what it is that you want, until you figure out how you want to do certain things, you're constantly going to be influenced. You're constantly going to feel like you have to prove yourself to people. You're constantly going to seek validation from society, from your family, from your peers. Just because, once again, you grew up a certain way of living or a certain way of thinking doesn't mean that you have to continue to live that way, especially if that's not who you are. Now, if what you were taught and shown is the reason why you are, and you're successful and you're productive and you don't have any problems, then congratulations, you don't have nothing to worry about. But a lot of people, that's not their situation. You have to be able to know that the moment you become confident in yourself and genuinely secure in yourself, you have to be able to stand with yourself. You have to be able to sit with yourself. And it's not uncomfortable. The only people who struggle with sitting in solitude, embracing their isolations, are people who never been alone before or who never sat with themselves. And once again, you've been alone. If you are considered to be the chosen one, or if you want to break generational curses, or you want to do things that you didn't see growing up in your community, or you witnessed but you don't have access to, you have to be able to take certain chances. You have to be able to make certain changes. You've been around people who didn't pour into you and didn't support you. So the only difference now is that you don't have to deal with the projection. You don't have to deal with the deflection. You don't have to consume their negative energy, because that's what happens when you surround yourself with people, places, and things who are not compatible with you. Once again, subconsciously, if you're not confident, you will doubt yourself. You will think, okay, this is my reality. You will base your circumstances based off of what you see. And I'm speaking from experience. So because I was in certain situations, I had to realize that just because I'm in these circumstances, just because I went through certain things and I'm around certain people, doesn't mean that I have to be like them or that I have to like the things that they want. So if you don't always have control of yourself, of course, as children, like I said, we've been taught and shown certain things, but as you grow to a level of consciousness, when you're able to make decisions for yourself, you don't have to continue these paths. And it's not even about being better. It's just some things you don't want to do because you don't have to. Like, your season of isolation is not punishment. You taking the time to figure out what it is that you want, how it makes you feel, you have the right to do so. Like, you're the only person who has authority over your life. Other people do not have control over your life, and that's the problem. When I was in certain circumstances that I didn't get to pick, so like school, work, relatives, I had to tolerate certain people. I knew personally these people I was not compatible with, because once again, we weren't on the same frequency. We weren't meant to be in each other's lives forever. So I did not allow anybody to tell me, oh, you can't do this or you can't do that. Like, no, you have to be able to know that when you're in a season of isolation and you're figuring out who you are and what you want to do in this life, that you're allowed to do it. Nobody gets to tell you what you can and cannot do. And the only people who thought they could have control, or the only people who get upset when you reject them or you're rejected by them, are the people and the places and things who aren't meant to be a part of your life anyway. So no, like, it's not lonely at the top. It's peaceful. If you have a hard time being alone, you have attachment issues. You have abandonment issues. That stems from your childhood trauma. And as your favorite mental health specialist, we're not here to sugarcoat anything. We go to the source. We go to the solution. We go to the source. We go to the topic of the concern, and we come up with solutions. Excuse me. We're not making excuses. Until you learn how to be comfortable and until you are aware of yourself and whatever that looks like to you, you're constantly going to be confused and doubting yourself and feeling the need to surround yourself with people, places, and things that you're meant to outgrow. So now, these are going to be the recommendations on how you learn to embrace your isolation. Number one, you need to figure out who you are. And once again, this is going to take time. I'm speaking from experience. I am 28, about to be 29. I have lived for 28 physical years, right? So I'm speaking from experience. And I'm also an naturopathic physician, your favorite mental health specialist, a motivational educator, and your favorite rich auntie. But anyways, enough about me, back to you. You need to figure out who you are. You see how I was able to give you these labels and these titles? And it's not because society says I have to be these things. I'm those titles and those labels because I chose to be those things. I chose to post this content. I chose to become an entrepreneur. I chose to be a rich auntie. I wanted to be a rich auntie. You have to be able to make decisions that you want to do, regardless of how other people feel towards you. It doesn't matter. And once again, speaking from experience, none of those people are going to be a part of your picture when you grow to become the best version of yourself. I need you on this piece of paper and to let me know, who are you? And take your time figuring that out, because you're going to change. You're going to grow. If you're not 100% like sure, you may change. You may grow. You may outgrow a version of you. But you need to have a sense of self. You need to have identity of your own. So how you go about doing that, which is going to be the second thing, is to figure out what it is that you like. Get to know yourself. You want people to like you. I just made a video talking about that. You want to be in relationships. You want all these things. But it's like, what about you? Do you even like yourself? Do you even know yourself? If I didn't like myself, if I didn't know myself and I didn't love myself, I would not be able to make these videos. I would not be able to say what I want to say and do what I do. I would be concerned about how people feel and I would be around these people. Once again, my circumstances, like I said, were schools and like work and sometimes even like relatives and neighborhoods. I didn't get to pick those things. But at the age of 28, now I'm able, and as I've grown in my last 11 years, because that's when I started to work and, you know, be exposed to more people, I get to pick and choose who's in my life. And that's the same thing with you. You don't have to surround yourself with people just to surround yourself with them if you're comfortable and confident within yourself. I need you to figure out what you like about yourself. I need to figure out what you don't like about yourself. I need you to acknowledge some insecurities that you have, and I need you to acknowledge what your strengths are. When you can be honest, when you can be vulnerable, when you're not worried about judgment or perception, you're going to do what makes sense to you. And I need you to let me know in the comment section on your notes. And that's going to be your challenge. That's going to be your homework assignment. And if you're new here, we have homework assignments. We have challenges because this is an educational content where we motivate, educate, and inform. And you guys, this lipstick is like, it looks chappy. It looks dry. But anyways, who are you? What do you like to do? And what you don't like to do? When you figure out what you like about yourself and what you want to do, you're not going to surround yourself with people, places, and things who are not in alignment with you. You also have to realize that when you choose yourself, it's not selfish. You're not arrogant. It's nothing wrong with being self-centered. Self-centered is when you're full of yourself. When you are self-centered, when you are confident, when you are sure of yourself, you don't feel the need to belittle other people. You're not bragging. You are speaking from your experience. That's all we can do. Everybody doesn't know everything, and that's okay. It's not lonely at the top. It's peaceful. If you feel so alone, like I said, you don't need to be in a relationship, because what happens is people, oh, I'm so lonely. This healing is so lonely. No one said that you're going to. If you can't sit with yourself, how do you think you're going to be in a relationship with other people? That's why people have codependency issues. That's why people's relationships aren't successful. Even with businesses, you're too attached. And I'm speaking from experience. As somebody who's been detached their entire life, we don't need to do that. You need to have boundaries for yourself. You need to have a certain level of respect for yourself. Mariah Carey said it best, because it's your life. No fears, no stress. We're leaving it all behind. Okay, my voice is a little bit raspy, but okay. You're allowed to do what makes sense to you, and you should want to live your life for you. So I need you to figure out who you are. I need you to make some boundaries, and I need you to be okay with getting to know yourself. Be in a relationship with yourself. Until you learn how to love yourself, don't ask for a relationship. And if you are working towards yourself, and let's just say you've been putting in the work and you're being honest and you're getting comfortable with doing things alone and you're independent and you just happen to meet other people, you can have relationships with them, because I'm not going to be strict, right? But be mindful. If people are on the same frequency as you, or people are meeting you where you are, then they'll be willing to be patient with you. But just surrounding ourselves with people just to surround ourselves with, or feeling like we're lonely, get a life. A lot of people too who are miserable, and you could just happen to be miserable. I'm not saying this to be shady. I'm just, like I said, being honest, because that's what people swear up and down that they want, is to be honest. Tell the truth. Okay. If you had a life, you're not going to feel lonely. People feel lonely because they're not happy with their lives. And I'm not talking about materialistically. You have a lot of people who have materials. You have a lot of people who have wealth. You have a lot of people who have these external things, but internally they're not at peace. That's why we don't judge people based off of how they look, because you could look presentable, you could look attractive, you could look good, but your insides are all over the place. You could have a house, you could have a car, your bills could be paid, and you're still not satisfied. That's why people are still miserable and greedy and envious. And like I said, just very low vibrational. We want to raise our vibration. We want to become at peace with ourselves. So therefore, we can surround ourselves with peaceful people, because being at peace is a choice. And over here, we choose peace, we choose positivity, we choose love and abundance, because it's free. Now, if this doesn't resonate with you, send this video and share it to somebody who does. Thank you guys for watching it all the way to the end. Thank you for giving it a big thumbs up and liking. Thank you for turning on your post notifications and subscribing. And thank you for following me on all social media platforms. All the information will be down in the description box below. If you have any other further questions and comments or concerns, let me know in the comment section down below. Make sure you book your service and your session. My website is also going to be in the description, and follow me on all social media platforms on like Instagram and on TikTok. I will be going live answering you guys' questions. If it's like confidential and maybe you don't feel comfortable in the comment section, that's fine. DM me on Instagram. But yeah, like, you are not going to be lonely at the top. You're going to be lonely at the bottom. And the longer you stay at the bottom around certain people, places, and things, the more, like I said, you're going to have attachment issues. You're going to be angry. You're going to be frustrated. So if you're wanting to know where to start and what to do, make sure to follow for more. Take what resonates, leave the rest. And check out any other videos and let me know what you think of this video and what you're going to do to figure out who you are and learning to embrace yourself. Like, it's no reason for you to feel lonely when you are content with yourself, when you know who you are. Because let's just say you are alone and you do heal yourself, and because over here we see results. You get everything that you want within yourself. You make peace with yourself. You heal your trauma. You then now get to control and decide what you want to do with your life. You have the freedom. Now you have the time. You get to surround yourself. You get to hang out with people who want to appreciate you. Because why are you hanging out with people who don't love you or who aren't honest and who don't support you? And if I didn't love you, if I wasn't honest and I didn't want to support you, I wouldn't be telling you the truth. Okay? See you later. Bye.